Hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do. So here on Let's Talk Ray Bradbury, we have been recently working our way through the collection, The Stories of Ray Bradbury. There's 100 stories in this collection. We're up to number 60, or actually, rather number 40, leaving 60 more to go. But we're going to get through them sometime this year. We're going to look at each story, give a brief synopsis, some notes, and basically do a review. Today's story is The Playground from 1953. For the synopsis, 6 months after the death of his wife Anne, a man named Charles Underhill, who currently has a live-in sister who's taking care of his son. She decides that, little Jim here is getting old enough. Maybe we should take him to the playground and give him a chance to begin socializing and sort of growing up as children do. Charles has never paid much attention to the playground as he walks home from work, but after the suggestion, he walks through one day and he sees basically a hellscape of little ravenous demon children hurting each other, and he's like, nope, bringing back traumatic memories, don't want to put my son through this. But Carol continues to insist, and Charles keeps mulling it over, and he decides, maybe I could move to the country. No, can't afford to do that. Maybe I could bring a tutor in so he doesn't have to go to school and go through all of that. No, can't afford that. So inevitably, it looks like his kid's going to have to continue going to public school, or go to public school, and to first grow up on the playground as kids do. Late one night, as he is walking through the area, sort of mulling this over in his head, a little boy calls out to him. He says, Charlie, and, as if he himself were a little boy. And Tommy reveals that he is actually Tom Marshall, an old friend of Charles. Charles thought perhaps this was his son, and what's he doing out so late? But in fact, this is the father himself. And he reveals that he has struck a deal with the playground. And basically, there's a sentience of this playground, and he said, if you wish hard enough, you can change places with your child, live through their eyes, and basically make it so they don't have to go through all the hell that you did as a child. So the next day, he reverses course, gets Carol, gets the boy, goes down to the playground, and wishes hard and switches place with him. And he actually sees himself looking back at his actual adult body back by the fence, standing with his sister Carol. He's up the top of this slide. He's waving, and the next minute he knows he's landing at the bottom in pain because he's been pushed down the slide by some boys, and in fact, as he remembered it, childhood was hell. Absolutely love it. We often talk about parents living vicariously through their child. This is a case of Bradbury taking that sort of situation and twisting it and making it so a parent literally lives through the eyes of his child. I actually absolutely love that. Bradbury is a wise person, or was a wise person, and I've always found his ability to sort of never forget what it's like to be a child, to be one of his most impressive feats. And he's very much like a much cooler Mr. Rogers in that respect, where he never loses track of the childhood experience. And I think that's on full display in this story. But I can relate to it, I remember spending evenings at a playground where my mom would take me while we were waiting for my older sisters to get back from music lessons, and there were some scary situations being chased around by boys who had no good intentions at all. It's said that these situations are supposed to help you grow up, help mold you, and help make you build character. Sports are the same way, but that's not my experience, really. I was talking about this just the other day with somebody, how they often say that sports are supposed to teach you character and things like that. But I always found it like it was the adult element, which was the worst aspect, where you lose positions on teams because the coach's kids or the kids of more aggressive parents always got to play. because probably the coach didn't want to get beat up by the parents, and the coach, of course, wants the best for his kids. And when you had parents like mine who were, I think, were wise in basically keeping their nose out of the business, but basically that meant that I would end up sort of in these situations. And I suppose that building sports and these experiences and youth activities does build character if you're on the winning side, and it teaches you winning and you get used to winning. But I really wonder if what it really does is sort of set the pecking order for the rest of our lives. And it'd be easy to say that get over it, grow up, whatever, it's years ago. But no, I think what happens to us when we're young very much sets the tone for our lives, and until you sort of experience the level of success that you're looking for, it becomes increasingly hard to ever get it at all, because you begin to wonder, am I capable? Do I deserve it? Why is my effort always said to be too little? And why is it my fault that I never succeed when I continue to work my butt off? And I can really relate to this. It sort of reminds me of a situation where, when you're depressed, somebody says, can't you just try to think positively? Like, it's one of those things where people just don't understand if you're not in a situation where things just don't go their way in life. And we constantly hear this today, especially in current sort of social climate, where it's like, if you're poor, it's your own fault, as if it were that simple, as people would just choose to be more successful. And it's really not the case, because there's so many roadblocks, and then you get used to losing, and you lose faith in yourself. And of course there are roadblocks, and so just because somebody has success with this level of work doesn't mean that the same level of work is going to get success for everybody else. And I think people who are confident in their life sort of lose track of that, and they don't quite get grasp, because they were set up to succeed early in life, where some of us were not. And it doesn't mean we can't succeed later, but it definitely causes us to doubt ourselves, to have to rethink our goals, our priorities, our expectations, and I find myself constantly battling this, in my life situation. And there's things that I've put a lot of effort into. I've had, in some cases, more success than some people, but never the amount of success that I'm looking for. Never what I would call true success. So it's a very interesting situation, and it's a little bit. I'm getting a little bit garbled here in my delivery of it, but that's sort of what great stories do. They make you think about these things, and they bring up a lot of different things, and dredge up a lot of old memories. And there's always ways to apply good stories to your life, and that's what I'm doing here today with The Playground from 1953 by Ray Bradbury. All right, so we will be back in a few days with our next review, which will be Skeleton from way back in 1943. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again soon.